Right, so today I have the lovely Andy Moore with me, and you've done some fantastic things with your life and lots of travelling and stuff. So really looking forward to hearing your journey. So, just
Thanks.
first of all, where are you right now? What is it you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, so hey everyone. My name's Andy. I run a adventure travel company based in South Wales, but we basically specialise in expeditions. So we take people to Mount Everest, the Himalayas. We go to lots of mountains in the Himalayas, and we go on some wicked journeys. Really, been doing that now for a number of years. Very small business. Now we're a very established business. But as a young entrepreneur, there's lots of challenges with running your own business. But it's a fantastic job, really, if you could call it that, because it's not a job for me. It's a passion.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a pretty exciting role to have. All these exhibitions and stuff to do. It's you're certainly not sitting around in an office all day, are you?
Well, sometimes. They have to do the boring stuff behind the scenes, but you spend a lot of time out in the mountains, and people, you're helping them reach their dreams, and they've got bucket lists, they got things they want to tick off and want to do. You see their faces when they've done it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Now, I expect when you were kind of studying your GCSEs at school, being this kind of having this role and having your own business was probably not the one thing you thought you'd be doing, is it?
No, I have to be fair. Yeah, when I was 17, it was very different. I was quite a quiet, reserved guy. But for me, it was, running a business was like never something I thought I could do. It seemed quite scary, I think, was the big thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of earning money was kind of a new thing for me. But it's, as you get older, I think you kind of realize that, things are possible. Certain experiences you have in life. Like, I've always loved to travel. I went traveling when I was 20, I think it was, to Asia and Australia and stuff, and it certainly gave me a bit of independence, because you have to look after yourself and cook your own food. You can't get your parents to do that anymore. Put the toast in the toaster. That was bloody hard.
Yeah. Just trying to work that one out in first place.
So there's certainly, for me, it was all about, I wanted to travel. That was kind of my thing, just because I quite enjoyed geography in school, and I wasn't really, maths really wasn't my thing, and I was okay at English. Science was okay, but for me, it was all about getting out, and I quite like the outdoors. So yeah, traveling was always something I really wanted to do. But running your own business, no chance.
Yeah, and I think it's quite scary thinking about running your own business. But nowadays, with the YouTube and everything, these, kind of the word entrepreneur sounds quite enticing, doesn't it? But when you're first leaving school and you say to your parents, "Oh, I want to run my own business," you're often kind of told to get a proper job first, aren't you? So when you came out of school and you did your exams and everything, what was your kind of journey from there to where you are now?
Yeah, so I've got to go a while back now. Right, so I left. I left sixth form. I kind of wanted to get the uni, and I didn't get the grades I wanted. It's just part of life. But I actually got a job working in an office. Actually worked for Tesco head office. So it wasn't in the stores; it was in the back end. I luckily really got the job. Went for the interview. My very first interview. I was very nervous, but luckily I got the job. I kind of find out later down the line, nothing to do with my qualifications or anything, because I really had none, but they actually liked me. So I think that was important. Yeah, so I worked for Tesco head office for about 18 months, 2 years, I think it was. From there, really, I mean, it was fantastic because I worked with people a lot older than me. I went from quite a shy kid, if you like, to having a bit of confidence about me. So yeah, as soon as I wanted to do certain things, I actually left there and went completely different. I actually worked as a caretaker for 9 months, I think it was, looking after some apartments and things like that. And it was a very lonely job, and I kind of get my energy from people, so that really wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So decided to go back to work in an office. I worked for Legal and General, which is an insurance company. And kind of at that point, I knew then, rekindle my traveling bug that I'd had when I was in sixth form. And, all this university thing really took over my mind. And once I got the job, I still wanted to go traveling. So I saved up for 12 months, got loads of money together that I could while still living with my parents. And then buggered off to Australia then.
Wow.
Spent quite a lot of time over there, and then went to East Asia, Thailand. Was over there probably for about 6 months at that time. Then came back and was like, oh my God, I need some more money again, because, I was still only 21 at the time. And then worked for Swalec for a number of years, which, Scottish SSE, I think they're called now. Again, office, as you can see, is a trend here. I kind of worked in an office quite a lot, but different jobs in an office as well. It was, quite varied. So yeah, I was with them. I kind of, again, I still had that travel bug with me, and there was stuff I wanted to do. I've always quite enjoyed people, and I was never afraid to stand up and talk in front of people. So I went traveling again with my then girlfriend.
Yeah.
I went back over to Thailand, and I actually learned how to teach scuba diving. So I was over there for quite a long time.
Wow.
And just jumped in, really. I was petrified of water, but one of my friends persuaded me to go diving to overcome that fear, and I loved it so much I turned professional, and then just started teaching it. Did all the qualifications I needed to do, actually passed them rather than, because I was in a different mindset. I mean, sometimes when you're in school, 17 or 18, I kind of lacked that confidence to follow through with my exams. But as I was a bit older, I kind of knew, right, let's work hard at this, revise
when it's something you really enjoy as well, it makes a difference, isn't it? Often the issue that a lot of the students have with the exams is their subjects they're having to do to meet the government requirements. Whereas, if you were to go and speak to half the students that are watching now and say, okay, would you like to take an exam and become a scuba teacher? I expect more of them would find that a bit more exciting than a geography exam.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. It's at the end of the day, if you're learning something that you've got a love for or a passion for, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to work harder on that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of the big thing for me. So learning how to scuba dive, then being able to teach it, which I did for quite a long time, and then taught over in Australia, quite a number of places. But the thing is, sometimes the problem with passion jobs is that they're not very well paid. So I kind of bit the bullet and went back to work in an office again. So that was kind of my thing. So went back to the UK. I did a few different types of sales jobs, which was a means to an end. I still traveled loads, but I worked, I traveled a lot. And that was just kind of life. But the business idea for me, when it came to it, was basically I was working I ended up working in finance. And again, no qualifications in finance. They just liked me. And, they offered me a job in finance. It was very well paid, so it was great. I contracted for about 4 or 5 years, but then I wanted to do some travel writing. I've always been a writer, loved it. And I quit my job, booked a ticket to Nepal because it was just after the earthquake, 2015. Loved the place. Came back. I was so affected by it that I was like, right, I want to help, which is when I built the website. It was then called Bucket List Adventure Travel. And luckily, my partner Jen, she's a business coach, so she kind of guided me and helped me and monetize my passion, because I've always loved the mountains, as well as the sea. I love the mountains. And it went from there. And over time, we started to get people. I was helping people. Their blockages, they were like, can I do this? Can I go to places like Mount Everest? And I was like, yeah, you can. Do anything you want to do. And, then next thing you know, I'm taking like 15 customers at a time to Everest Base Camp and seeing how they change, how they grow as people.
Yeah.
How they then pass that on. I mean, some of them have got kids, some of them are young adults, and they're then feeling inspired to do other things. So that then became my passion. So yeah, the last couple of years, the business has grown exponentially. So it's mad.
Yeah, and what I love with your journey, and like we were sort of talking just before we were recording, in that you know, for you, work is a way of making sure you have the life that you want. And I think a lot of people, you know, they have this idea that they've got to pick a career for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it becomes this, you know, we talk about work-life balance all the time, but people really do put this career first. You've got to either be a career person or a homely person. And actually what you've done is debunk that completely by making a really fantastic career. I mean, you know, being able to take people up Everest and stuff is,
Yeah.
you know, is fantastic and really exciting. And a lot of people would have that as like, you know, their dream job that they never thought they'd be able to do. And you're doing that so that you can have the life that you want. It's almost like a hobby, really, but you've
Yeah.
done really well at it.
Yeah, so I mean, over time you gain experience, and like you said, it's always trying to work out that you can, one, have the money that you want to be able to do the things you want,
Yeah.
but also, you know, be able to live you have that as your passion. And yeah, you know, luckily, you know, very now, you know, at the moment, it's fantastic because it's my passion. Obviously, you know, money wise, it's really good, but sometimes, yeah, it is about that. Like all those jobs I talked about, none of those were my passion.
Yeah.
But they enabled me to live the life I wanted to live outside of work. And certainly, if there were any of those jobs were made me unhappy, then, you know, I didn't have any loyalty to them. The loyalty was to me, to my life. That's the most important thing. You have one life. You've got to be loyal to you,
Yeah.
and that's what I did. If I was unhappy, I moved on. You know, and you know, you've got to make those choices, and you know, if it means applying for another job before you get it, that's fine. That's just part of the journey. But then, you know, at the end of the day, your life will still be amazing. You know, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, the most important thing is you and your life and the people you look after.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, certainly kind of leads us to the next thing about, kind of, is there one thing you can say to these students that they can take away from your journey? And I think that's definitely kind of what you're talking about there, isn't it? It's about, you know, living your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Life is short. I mean, you know, I know maybe people are watching this, maybe they have had some people they've lost in their family, but sometimes, yeah, life can be very short, and you know, you need to make the most of that. And certainly, if you're ever in a position that you think, you know, I'm just doing this, you know, I know it's paying the bills, but if it's not really making you happy, then you need to make a change.
Yeah.
That change may be hard, may be difficult to begin with, but it will work out down the line, and you'll be happier for it, and your life will be happier for it. Your friends, your family, the people around you won't see that you're unhappy and suffering. You're not the person you really are. Excuse me. Because they want to see you do something that you're happy in. That's massively important.
Yeah.
That's what I suggest to anyone that's watching this is, yeah, do something that makes you happy, or keep finding it, and keep changing your mind.
Yeah.
You know, challenge yourself, jump out of your comfort zone. Don't go for a job that you'll know you'll get. Go for something that's higher up. If you see a job and you think, oh no, I can never do that, well, go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, well, exactly. The worst is that they'll say, no, you're not qualified, or no, you're not ready for it. But they might even just come back with some feedback of how you can get that job in the future, or things that you can do. I know I've applied for jobs in the past that I didn't think I'd get, and then I've been surprised with actually, we really like you as a person. If you can do these few things, then we'll give you a chance next time. And you're like, well, okay, I didn't get it now.
Yeah.
But I might get it in 6 months' time or a year's time. But I now have a plan of what I need to do to get that job. And it's...
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time, employers have gone through all the CVs, and if you got you at an interview stage, they're just looking to see if they can work with you.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned. And all you gotta do is just be yourself, and if they like you, you're in. That's generally how it works.
That's brilliant. Everyone that I've worked with, I always say to them, with your CV is your foot in the door. That's just about, are you qualified? They would have already read your statistics. They know what your hobbies are. But that 45 minutes or an hour that you have in that room with them, that's your moment to show them all the stuff that isn't written on that CV, isn't it? That's showing you the twinkle in your eye and the little bit of passion that you've got. And, you know, I remember giving a guy a job because he had this big sparkly pink hair bobble in his hair. And he, you know, as qualified as everybody else, but when we kind of like, look, we've got to ask, what's with the hair bobble? And he was saying that he had a 6-year-old sister, and she wanted him to wear her lucky hair bobble. And I just remember thinking, you know, this guy's like 23 and he's come to an interview with his sister's lucky hair bobbling. If I'm interviewing somebody because I want them to deal with complaints and I want them to deal with people that have had serious injuries, I want somebody who's got that kind of heart and that kind of you know, feeling to him. And so he walked out, he was getting the job regardless of anything else. This pink sparkly hair bubble, you know. So you do have to, that's your moment to stand out, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to remember that. Wear a pink hair bubble. Yeah, absolutely.
Beads in the bin.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I could talk to you for ages, and I've got like 15 million questions around sort of Everest and the mountains and everything else. But that's not going to help these students or keep the time limited to what they have to watch. So, thank you ever so much for your time. And for sharing your journey. I expect there's going to be a lot of people kind of looking you up now to kind of see what you do and look for those mountain photos.
Yeah, well, look, guys, come to Everest, why not?
Well, I may well be kind of, I'm already sitting here thinking, I mean, I could do a mountain.
Yeah, do it.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much for your time.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks.